at the elite level, he didn't make an impact. Now he's come to MLS and he's had an impact, but how good is he really? How impactful can he be against a serious opponent? And how often does he play against a serious opponent? How often do Argentina play against a serious opponent? So I think when it comes to the tougher games and the knockout stages, I think we'll find out then.
I think something about this tournament itself, which reminds me in some ways of the Club World Cup last year, is that there were certain stadiums which weren't full, but others that were. And I think a stadium with Lionel Messi in it will always be full.
100%.
So the support that, say, he will have and Argentina will have in those arenas will make them tough to play against. I think even though it is a foreign tournament or an away tournament for them, they will have a sense of familiarity and popularity wherever they go. There won't be many teams that will have greater support than he will. So in some ways, maybe that is the type of thing that will benefit them. But 4 years on, they've also lost the likes of an Angel Di Maria, somebody hugely influential for them across the last 10, 15 years. But I understand why people don't really have them down as being the favourites anymore. But that's more so to do with the quality that exists in the rest of the world.
I think they're going to flop. Round of 16, out they go.
Who losing to who?
I can't remember, I did it in my bracket.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I'll show Craig it later,
Okay,
it'll be fascinating,
good,
I'm sure. Portugal with the victory over Nigeria as they prepare for their opening World Group stage match against DR Congo. It's the same conversation with Portugal, and it's going to be until he retires. Cristiano Ronaldo, a help or a hindrance, Nathan?
Yeah, I think that is true, but it's very tough to say.
Which one is it?
Yeah, that's where you give me an answer, and then all the Ronaldo fans.
Wasn't it like a middle-of-the-road question?
If the backup striker was someone of a higher status than Gonzalo Ramos, then I think he would have been brought out of the team sooner. But I think there is such a significant difference between the two. I think Gonzalo Ramos on his best day, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily go ahead of Ronaldo on an average day, especially
even
at this
now.
level. Even now, I would say.
What about Rafael Leao, who's not
Is
really
he not suspended? He's suspended, isn't he?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Ramos will work more than Ronaldo, and that's what the team.
The question is, to your question, right? A help or a hindrance? Recent major tournaments, the last 2 or 3, both Euros and World Cup, the answer is hindrance. Fernando Santos dropped him eventually. He didn't score, I believe, in the last major tournament. He might have scored a penalty, but certainly not from open play. He struggled. This brilliant player, absolutely, as Nathan said, you can debate it. Messi, Ronaldo, all you want. There's no right, there's no wrong. Absolutely unbelievable individual of a player. Still doing it in his 40s. He's got a couple of hundred caps of what it is. It's amazing. But it still doesn't take away from the fact you could be a potential hindrance to your team at that age. And the question is, when they get to the knockout, and they will, particularly with this 3 teams, a bunch of the 3 teams go through. I mean, you've got to be a right dauber to get knocked out of this World Cup.
8 out of 12 will advance.
You've got to be really bad. That's another scenario, another debate. But when they get to the knockouts, and I'm not sure which way this crazily big bracket goes, but when they start meeting better teams, if he is struggling, there's got to be a lot of expectation on Roberto Martinez in terms of his job, in terms of what Portugal will do at this World Cup. He might have to make that big decision. And the question is, does he have it in him to make that decision on his oldest player? If he's struggling, and listen, if he's not struggling, he's scoring goals, I'll applaud him. Because if he's doing it in his 40s at the World Cup, that's amazing. But looking historically, in the last 5 or 6 years, the answer has been he has struggled in these competitions.
When you're talking about struggling in these competitions, you're talking about him missing chances or his general game involvement?
Both.
Because the missing chances thing, that could just change. And I think for Gonzalo Ramos, there's no guarantee that he would have scored all those goals either. I think if we're talking about him being a direct replacement as such. So I see why you would persist with a play like that because, for example...
So is he undroppable?
The answer is both. And let me just, when Nathan thinks about this, the answer with Ronaldo is, and here's part of the problem, he goes into the qualifiers and the Nations League and they play weaker teams a lot of the times, and they beat some of these teams by 4, 5, 6 and sometimes 7 goals, and he's bagging goals, and he's undroppable. And then it gets to the latter stages of a major tournament and you're playing much better sides. That's when I think the light has been sort of shone on him. And in recent years anyway, not in previous years, he's been brilliant. But in recent years, his age has caught up with him. And it now means we have to really talk about this because are Portugal, if he's struggling, going to be better without him? Or is Roberto Martinez going to sit in his hands and say, well, if I take him off, the whole of Portugal are going to come for me?
I think at this stage, I actually believe he's undroppable.
Right.
If Portugal made it to a semi-final,
A man in his 40s, undroppable at a World Cup.
well, Messi's nearly 40. Would you drop him?
He won the last World
Is
Cup.
he not a better impact?
That's 4 years on, as you said, though.
A quarter-final, semi-final, put him on for the last half an hour, last 20 minutes when the opponents are tiring, when his lack of physicality now would work better. Take Ramos off, because Ramos will work the defenders more than Ronaldo would, and then bring him on for the last 20
But that's
minutes.
going to batter his ego, isn't it? And that's where you're looking at your manager
Absolutely. But his ego might get more embellished or massaged if he scores the winning goal in the 80th minute. Then he's the hero.
Are you concerned more about his general fitness and tiredness, or what you're thinking?
He doesn't contribute. You know, the first line of defensive attack, you know, pressing from the front, he doesn't do any of that.
Neither does Harry Kane.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking different.
No, put Watkins on instead. Get him to work and just go and press people.
Yeah,
But then you're also talking about late stages of competitions. Harry Kane hasn't necessarily done that.
No, but Harry Kane's dropping it. Harry Kane's dropping into mid. You're talking about one of the best strikers in the world at the moment. Ronaldo isn't that player anymore.
And Kane's still doing it for Bayern Munich.
Kane's dropping into midfield, pinging balls around and scoring 50 goals a year. And I don't feel like we're not bashing Ronaldo for Ronaldo. We're having a discussion because of his age and because of his impact in the last Euros, the last World Cup, and before that. He's playing in Saudi, and he has been the talking point in previous major tournaments. What we're going to do with him? Should he start? Can I take him off? Because he hasn't contributed like he once was able to do, and that's a fact.
Okay, Portugal overall, they're a real contender, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, are they an outsider? I think they're more than an outsider. I think they're a real challenger. I think they've got a real chance. I mean,
are they Belgium though from a few years ago that everybody thought, well, they're going to win it this?
same coach.
Yeah,
maybe.
Coach, yeah.
You know, I think they've got a real chance. I think they could be the team that comes from nowhere. It's hard to pick a team that wins the World Cup that hasn't won it before, if you know what I mean. It's always the heavyweights.
But they're fourth favourites. They're not exactly dark horses.
Rightly so, because they've got a real supporting cast behind Ronaldo now who are definitely worth backing.
Yeah.
And like I said, Bruno Fernandes after the best season of his career. You know, even people like João Felix have still got something in them. Then you've got, you know, João Neves, fantastic playing midfield. I think you've got Vitinha. He's got a real chance.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially Ronaldo up front.
How far? How far?
I'll go semi-finals.
Semi-finals?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's the road, see.
Yeah, sure. The road. If you did my bracket, you would have seen.
Well, I didn't see your bracket. When did you do your bracket? Sports Centre? You Billy Big Time again?
But they're definitely, you know.
Yeah, I mean.
Is it fair to say anything but a semi-final is a failure?
Depends on the bracket.
Right, good. Thank you very much.
It does really, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, of course.
It's a bit like Arsenal's trip to the Champions League final.
Easy path,
Yes.
soft path.
England are taking on Costa Rica as we speak in Orlando. The game was delayed by an hour because of a thunderstorm. This is an England side who come into this at their best run of major tournaments of the modern era. Obviously, runner-up in the Euros, lost to France in the quarterfinals, runner-up in the Euros as well, where they lost against Italy in the penalty shootout. What's the expectation? You've just flown in from England, Mark. What's everybody saying?
The expectation is not as high and as over-optimistic as usual. I think that's because there's a sense that this England team is going to struggle in the heat. I think people realise that this tournament is not built for England, but they've got a great set of players.
You dear, spare me already. But anybody got a violin in here?
I know what's going to happen. The first time they play against a decent team who can pass the ball, they'll lose.
Right, it's as simple as that.
That's what always happens.
So Croatia?
Well, possibly in the first game, yeah. But it's not going to be hot in Dallas. It's a covered stadium, so they might get away with it.
So we're saying a European team's not going to win over here because of the heat?
Well, Spain keep the ball.
Warmer in Spain.
Yeah, but no, Spain keep the ball. They pass the ball.
Well, what's Thomas Tuchel been brought in for? The Messiah.
I know, but the thing what he's done is...
I don't know why you keep calling him the Messiah. No one's called Thomas Tuchel the Messiah.
He's filled the squad he's filled the squad with athletes in a tournament where you need to pass the ball. He's left his technical players like Foden and Palmer out of the team. So I don't understand why he's got so many runners.
The FA have gone for another foreign coach of great experience because they think they have the guy that's going to get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Have they got the guy then?
I don't like his squad.
Right.
Yeah. His squad was strange. I mean, you know, you talk about heat. What if he has to go and unlikely? What if he has to call in Jordan Henderson?
Absolutely. Dan Burn.
Well, he struggles in the heat, but he's good around the dressing room. He might have to play. But come on, Augie, the heat. Come on, the heat can't be an excuse.
Well, it is the way that England play. It's too much high energy, high tempo. They don't pass the ball. England never pass the ball well against good teams. I mean, I can't remember the last time they did. I mean, you guys might be able to help me out here, but they play against inferior teams, they win. That's what England always do.
Yeah.
I can't remember a major tournament where they've actually beaten a France, an Italy, a Germany, a Spain, a Brazil, Argentina in the knockout stage. I mean, I really can't. You're probably going back to 1966 when they last won it. They don't beat heavyweight nations because when it comes to the crunch, they can't keep the ball. They can't show the patience that is required to break an opponent down. It happens every time.
They're third favourites.
Yeah, what you were saying there, I feel like it's wrong. And obviously someone will fact check.
I'm sure they beat Germany at some
Yeah,
stage.
they beat Germany in the
recently?
What, in a
Euros in
knockout?
21. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the thing.
I'm
wasn't
talking
it?
about World Cup.
Euros?
Sorry, I'm talking World Cup. World Cup's the one. It's one of the
No,
Euros.
no one in the gab mark caught you superior.
We just talk about World Cups, don't we? We don't bother about Euros and stuff like that.
So will this be a
Not with them
success or
either.
a failure?
So the squad itself, I think there's probably like 4 or 5 players that will get no football whatsoever.
So John Stones and Konza as centre halves. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what played against Costa Rica
Mark
today.
Gray will play.
Who will play?
Mark
sorry?
Gay.
Mark Gray.
Yeah, Gay, yeah.
What, Gay with Stones?
Gay and Stones, I think.
And that, listen, I think John Stones is a terrific footballer.
But he never plays.
But he's at that stage of his career where he's been fighting injuries and he hasn't played. An absolutely brilliant football brain, great passer, but all that sort of stuff. But he hasn't played.
He's also picked Bukayo Saka and now admitted that he's got an Achilles problem that's troubling him.
And is Jude Bellingham playing in this game because Morgan Rogers is going to start?
I think that team is the starting team, apart from with a question mark over Madueke and...
Right, and Gay obviously coming in for
What are you
Konza.
saying? So Roger, you don't think Morgan Rogers
I don't
will
think
start?
Rogers starts now.
No.
Really?
No, I think if Saka's fit, he'll play instead of Madueke.
And all this sort of tit for tat with Bellingham and blah, 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 and yet...
Yeah, I mean, I think they're different players. I think Rodgers is more dynamic, more attack-minded than Bellingham. Bellingham's a different player than Rodgers, and I think he'll go for
Yeah,
Bellingham.
Bellingham's more of a natural midfielder.
Exactly. Against Croatia, I think that...
But he's such a strong runner with the ball, Morgan
He's a better
Rogers. He's
fit
such a strong... When you get it into
Yeah.
his feet, he gets turned, he brushes people off, and he drives at that back line.
You know, Bellingham gives you more defensively, especially against a Croatia. Maybe.
Is he frightened to drop Bellingham
No, I
for
don't
a
think
World
so.
Cup?
I think he'd love to.
Because
I think he'd like to. I think he relishes the controversy too cool. I think.
why would he like to drop Bellingham and then put him in the team?
No,
I think he's
I don't
maybe
think he's
worried
scared
about
of it.
the backlash in terms of...
No, I think he's not.
If he drops Bellingham for Morgan Rogers as this tournament goes on, I don't know if he's going to play in match day 1. We've talked about this. I think Bellingham, in terms of being in the hotel and the squad, would not take that well.
No, he wouldn't.
That would be... maybe I'm wrong. I think that would be a potential problem within the camp.
Yeah, I don't think Tuchel's scared of that. In many ways, it's almost like he enjoys the confrontation. He's seen it throughout his career at clubs with hierarchy, with players. I think he enjoys that tension. I don't think it'd worry him to drop him, but I don't think he will in this occasion. I think.
But that's the last thing you want within a
absolutely.
small environment for a 4 or 5 week period.
That's the risk
You can't
of Tuchel.
have that.
That is the risk of Thomas Tuchel because, as we've seen, he's not frightened to upset people.